The Book of the Damned, by Charles Hoyfort, Chapter 19b. In the Monthly Weather Review, May, 1917, Waldo Lee McCarthy quotes from the Baton Rouge correspondence to the Philadelphia Times that, in the summer of 1896, into the streets of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and from a clear sky, fell hundreds of dead birds. There were wild ducks, and catbirds, woodpeckers, and many birds of strange plumage, some of them resembling canaries. Usually one does not have to look very far from any place to learn of a storm. But the best that could be done in this instance was to say, there had been a storm on the coast of Florida. And, unless he have psychochemic repulsion for the explanation, the reader feels only momentary astonishment that dead birds from a storm in Florida should fall from an unstormy sky in Louisiana, and with his intellect greased like the plumage of the wild duck, the datum then drops off. Our greasy, shiny brains. That they may be of some use after all. That other modes of existence place a high value upon them as lubricants, that were hunted for them, a hunting expedition to this earth. The newspapers report a tornado. If from a clear sky, or a sky in which there were no driven clouds, or other evidences of still continuing wind, or if from a storm in Florida, it could be accepted that hundreds of birds had fallen far away in Louisiana. I conceive, conventionally, of heavier objects having fallen in Alabama, say, and of the fall of still heavier objects still nearer the origin in Florida. The sources of information of the Weather Bureau are widespread. It has no records of such falls. So a dragnet that was let down from above somewhere, or something that I learned from the more scientific of the investigators of psychic phenomena. The reader begins their work with prejudice against telepathy and everything else of psychic phenomena. The writers deny spirit communication, and say that the seeming data are data of only telepathy. Astonishing instances of seeming clairvoyance, only telepathy. After a while the reader finds himself agreeing that it's only telepathy, which, at first, had been intolerable to him. So maybe, in 1896, a super dragnet did not sweep through this Earth's atmosphere, gathering up all the birds within its field, the meshes then suddenly breaking. Or that the birds of Baton Rouge were only from the Super Sargasso Sea, upon which we shall have another expression. We thought we'd settled that, and we thought we'd established that, but nothing's ever settled, and nothing's ever established, in the real sense, if, in the real sense, there is nothing but quasiness. I suppose there had been a storm somewhere, the storm in Florida, perhaps, and many birds had been swept upward into the Super Sargasso Sea. It has frigid regions and it has tropical regions. That birds of diverse species had been swept upward into an icy region, where, huddling together for warmth, they had died. Then, later, they had been dislodged. Meteor coming along, boat, bicycle, dragon, don't know what did come along. Something dislodged them,